So you're telling me that's the fucking wind?
We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
Okay, Amy, John wants you to call the police right now if you don't mind.
At least once in a while, we all come across something that is so creepy and so unexplainable that it leaves you questioning reality itself.
The man filming this video fortunately drove off quickly.
So get ready, peeps, because today's video is going to be intense as I reveal forbidden leaked footage from the United States.
No human can run that fast while being covered in mummy fabric.
Guaranteed to leave you shocked and confused. Number 1. Room 209. Let's rewind back to September 2005 and take a look at the chilling story of Room 209. It's the middle of the night, and some guests have reported hearing a woman scream inside Room 209. John, who handles security at the hotel, sets out to investigate the matter. As soon as he arrives on the floor, he hears the screams as well and informs his team to get in touch with the cops.
What's going on, John?
He's advised to not go inside alone, but I guess hearing this woman scream for her life is too much for John to ignore. And what you're about to see next will leave you horrified. John, who's clearly startled, comes out of the room alone. There's no one inside, and what's even more messed up is all the furniture has been flipped upside down. Where were the screams coming from? And who flipped all the furniture? It's a mystery that still hasn't been explained to date. Number 2. Men in Black. I'm sure most of you have seen Men in Black, and in case you didn't, they're the secret government officials who interrogate people who've supposedly seen aliens or UFOs. Well, check out this strange footage that shows 2 mysterious men dressed in black entering a hotel lobby.
2 mysterious men dressed in black suits visited the hotel looking for the witnesses.
Just a day before their arrival, some guests had reported witnessing a strange triangular object hovering above their hotel. But here's where things take an eerie turn. The receptionist who talked to these strange men reported they were both over 7 feet tall, had no eyebrows or eyelashes, had deep blue eyes, and didn't even blink once during the entire conversation. Does this footage mean that there's indeed a secret government agency investigating aliens and UFOs? Or was it just someone playing a prank? Number 3. The tragic story of Elisa Lam. This footage will leave you on the edge of your seat. This is Elisa Lam. She's a student staying at a hotel. Prior to what happened, Elisa had never acted so strange. She enters the elevator, presses all the buttons, and stands back. Nothing strange yet, right? Well, she then steps out, looks around, steps back in, and waits. And another strange thing here is how the elevator doors remain open for so long. She repeats this a couple of times before stepping out one final time. It appears as if she's talking to someone, but there's no one there. What was Elisa talking to? Could it have been a ghost? This footage was released to the public after Elisa was released, and a couple of days later, people staying at the hotel shared how the water coming from the taps had a weird reddish color. When the management went on the roof to check it out, they found Elisa's dead body inside the tank. Number 4. Teleportation caught on tape. Blink and you'll miss it. It's a normal day, and traffic is running smoothly right before this semi-truck almost loses it. He steers as if he's trying to avoid something on the road, and out of nowhere appears a mysterious man. It's clear he wasn't there before, and the way he strangely pops up in the footage isn't normal. Do you think this was this real-life teleportation? And in case you think the footage is fake, why did the truck swerve all of a sudden? Number 5. Crying girl or ghost. These guys are investigating a strange crying noise coming from a staircase. If you listen closely, it appears to be the sound of a young girl.
So you're telling me that's the fucking wind?
Now, of course, someone has to investigate this stuff because what if it's really a child in trouble? But at the same time, what if it isn't? As these guys continue climbing the stairs, the crying gets fainter and then stops. They've reached the top, but there's nothing there now. And sure, it could have been a cat or something, but that noise was clearly human. Number 6. An animal or something else? What do you think is scarier? A strange animal or creature following you around or fishing in the middle of an ocean on a kayak? The footage on its own is quite chilling, as this man is hundreds of miles away from land, hidden in dense fog. It seems like he's having a pretty good time until a strange-looking animal, or should I say creature, pops out of the water, looks at him, and submerges. And I know what you're thinking, it could be a shark or even a seal. But observe the movement. It's like a head peeking out, almost as if it's stalking this man. And as soon as the guy spots it and tries to get a look, it disappears. Would a predator really do that? Unless you know it wasn't an animal. Number 7. Declassified footage. What you're seeing isn't edited footage. In fact, it's a very real footage declassified by the Pentagon. To this day, authorities still haven't been able to explain this mysterious object cruising in the sky.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots to the west.
At one point, the pilot even reports how there's an entire fleet of them in the sky. Also, you see how it's being picked up by the radar. Well, along with costing billions of dollars, they're also programmed to track other crafts. So if one thing's for sure, this object is a craft. The only thing we don't know is what kind. Number 8. A glitch or something else? Tesla isn't just famous for its faulty programming and outrageous subscriptions. Watch this footage as this Tesla owner strolls into a graveyard to record the unexplainable. Now, this isn't the first time something like this has been recorded, as many Tesla owners have shared similar stories. Whenever they take their ride to the graveyard, the sensor detects and displays humans and animals on the radar. If you look at this car's dash as well, you can see the Tesla showing a human even though there's no one there. So, is this a faulty sensor, or did Tesla include some sensors that can pick up former humans? Number 9. Underwater drone? This footage came from an underwater exploration mission as researchers observed this giant squid. There's nothing eerie about it yet until we see something pass by at alarming speeds. I have no clue what it is, but I'm not the only one. Could it be a flash? Some supersonic marine creature? A drone? No one knows. Here's a slowed-down version of it, and honestly, it appears to be a trail of light. What's interesting is, deep-sea creatures never swim that fast. They're usually just stationary and move around because of the ocean currents. Could it be a sea creature that we haven't even discovered yet? One that, despite being a deep-sea resident, swims fast and has light as well. Number 10. The Titanic Museum. The Titanic Museum has artifacts from the actual ship that suffered an extremely terrible ending. But surveillance cameras captured something so strange that no one can answer to date. There are no leaks or anything, but you can see water start to flood the museum.
The eerie part is the flood appeared to start under a 1912 Renault French concept car, a pivotal piece in the exhibit.
And that classic car you see in the footage, only 2 of them were made, and while one is at the museum, the other lies at the bottom of the ocean. Was this something supernatural or a leak that just wasn't identified? No one knows, but either way, it's almost ironic to see how the footage mimics what happened to the Titanic. Perhaps if they had tested the water, we'd know where it came from. But imagine it was from the ocean. Now that would have been crazy. Number 11, Bigfoot or a black bear. The driver behind the ATV is a first responder who's zooming through the woods after receiving an emergency call. He's following a trail, meaning this isn't exactly uncharted territory, as it's probably a popular spot for tourists or hikers. But just as he's cruising past this tree line, there's a mysterious-looking black figure hiding in plain sight. It seems too big to be a bear, but the footage is blurry, and you can't really tell what it is. And in case you think the clip is edited, watch how the first responder even looks back to see what it was. Now, many people are wondering if it was Bigfoot. But was it really? Or was that just a black bear? Or who knows, maybe it was neither and something else that lurks the forests at night. Number 12. Real or fake? You decide. This clip might be short, but it's without a doubt the scariest in this entire video. The girl or creature in the footage is absolutely horrifying. As the homeowner continues to record, the creature is begging to be let inside.
What? What's wrong with you?
It's also mentioning how something took its daughter. I mean, if the mother looks like this, I really don't want to know what the daughter looks like. It's not confirmed whether this clip is real, but either way. But if that's acting, boy, is it accurate, because her movements and the way she's talking is creeping me out. Number 13. Mysterious force. This clip might be old, but what you're about to see will make your heart pound. A man with his dog is exploring the forest. It's normal until his dog freezes and starts looking at something. When the man pans the camera in that direction, he sees a woman and a child. The child is suspended in the air, almost as if it's floating. What makes this clip legit is that the woman is looking up at the child. You know what they say? Red Bull gives you wings. Number 14, giant sea snake. We all know the largest creature on our planet is the blue whale. And for starters, it's never sighted in small lakes or rivers. And after this footage, this creature, or whatever it may be, clearly isn't a whale. It almost looks like a giant snake. In fact, I don't think I ever want to go swimming in a river or lake again. But yeah, most people think this is just another sighting of the infamous Loch Ness Monster. Number 15. Just Draymond Green or a clone? What looks like a regular NBA pressure turns spooky after Draymond Green completely freezes up. He lets out a big smile after a comment from the reporter, and after that, he just goes cold.
It's a lot of ups and downs this year, but it's been a heck of a ride, to be honest.
His expressions stay the same. He has a weird blank stare as he seems lost in nothingness. Now, most people do think he was just lost in thought, but the whole clip has a really weird vibe to it. And I'm sure you can feel it too. This might sound outrageous, but many people claim there's a secret organization out there that clones popular people, so this might not be the real Draymond we're looking at here. Number 16. Satanic Slip Up. Imagine you're watching the news, but all of a sudden, it switches to an actual satanic ritual. That would be freaky, right? Well, that's exactly what happened on a news channel as the broadcast was interrupted by a clip of a satanic ritual. It shows a man dressed up in a robe, chanting the words, "Hail Satan." What's strange is, as soon as the news resumes, the reporter carries on like nothing even happened. I mean, a slip-up like that is extremely strange. Twitter went nuts over this absurdity, and even now, no one has stepped forward from the news channel to explain what happened. Number 17. A secret society or ghost sighting. This person is exploring an underground tunnel when he starts hearing chants that sound like a ritual. He immediately freezes up and for some odd reason thinks it's wise to turn off his camera.
As he turns to look behind him, he's suddenly startled by a creepy dark figure lurking in an adjoining passageway. Take a look.
The clip then resumes and shows water leaking from an old pipe, meaning the tunnel is still functional. And I bet the chants have started to make a lot of sense now, right? He then hears something strange, and that's when we see a mysterious figure just standing there, staring right at him. From its looks, it seems human. But who knows what it actually was? And considering how he kept hearing chants, it's possible it was a member of the secret underground society. Number 18. A real ghoul? Look behind the moose. I repeat, look behind the moose. What is that strange creature? The movements aren't human at all, and it seems as if it spotted these people recording. Now we know wolves and bears are the major predators of a moose, but this creature doesn't look like any of them. If you ask me, it looks like a hunched humanoid. A lot of people claim it's just a smudge on the glass, but when you first see it come into the frame, it's clear that thing came from inside the forest. Number 19. Creepy cat encounter. Did this cat just float, or was something carrying it? Watch the chilling moment as this cat is almost lifted up by something and put beside its owner. When the owner woke up and saw this footage, she actually changed apartments since it was so scary. It's clear that something picked up this cat, but the question still remains, what was it? Was it a ghost, or is this just a creepy cat? Number 20. An entire fleet of UFOs. This was captured in Florida and shows an entire fleet of mysterious objects flying in the sky. And while this is just one clip, more than a dozen people reported spotting the same exact thing that night. Now, normally, you can almost always explain these sorts of sightings. For starters, they're recorded using the worst camera imaginable, but this time, the footage is clear. It's not shaky either, and if you think it's just some light reflection on the camera, why would so many people report it? This is just another clip that proves maybe we aren't actually alone in the universe. Oh, and ever since the Pentagon declassified the footage, I have more reason to believe this is real. Number 21, Montreal. This was recorded by a witness in Montreal, and the similarity is chilling.
The eyewitness noted that I could see planes all around and hear them, but I could not ID this object.
If it was just in Florida, skeptics could have shot down the sighting, but now the exact thing is being seen all over the world. Plus, this wasn't an effect or reflection either, as the person recording it shared how his entire room was vibrating as these mysterious lights passed by. Number 22. Wild animal or something else? This guy's hiking trip took a wrong turn after he started spotting massive footprints in the mud. And while they did appear human, they were way too big to be from us. He soon realized he was not alone and made the best possible decision to dip out of there. But just as he's taking one final look into the wilderness to make sure he's not being followed, he hears the most ungodly scream ever. I don't think animals sound like that, so what was this creature? And considering how the footprints weren't in 4, it's obvious this creature wasn't a wolf or a bear. It was something that stood upright like us, but sounded like it was from hell. Number 23, Skinwalker in Arkansas. Remember that eerie creature stalking a moose? Well, it's possible it may have been a skinwalker. This clip is from Arkansas and shows a similar creature terrorizing the forest. What's even more messed up is how it came directly to the person recording, and before we can see what happens, the footage ends. Number 24, real-life mummy? These two young men were driving down the road when they spotted a weird mummy-like human running after them. And while it does just seem like a naked man sprinting after them, both boys claim he was covered in a fabric, like a mummy. Plus, how can you ignore its speed? It's moving super fast and literally catches up to the car, trying to get as close as possible. And that's when we see another strange thing about this person or creature. Notice the eyes. They're glowing. So, let me get this straight. Running as fast as a car, wrapped in fabric like a mummy, and a glowing set of eyes. Is that thing even human? Most likely not. Number 25, ghost or a creepy wanderer. These guys are driving through an isolated forest in the middle of the night when they spot a woman in red standing on the edge of the road. They simply ignore it, thinking it must be a local, and continue with their journey. As they continue driving through the forest, they see some other people as well, so nothing is out of the ordinary so far. But as they're turning into this curve, their radio goes static and a weird humming sound takes over the car. It's the same woman. And this time, she's standing right in the middle of the road in front of their car. Now, I know what you're thinking. It has to have been staged, right? Well, it happened at a place where similar incidents are super common. But yeah, if you ever see something like this, do yourself a favor and hit the gas. Number 26, another Skinwalker or just a feral? I've seriously started to think Skinwalkers are real, guys. There are so many sightings of them, and this one is perhaps the most chilling. This man spots a pair of glowing eyes out in the forest and decides to take the creature on. It's almost like a human head with the body hidden behind a bush. But this man wants to get to the bottom of this. He asks the stranger to leave multiple times, but it doesn't even flinch. It continues to stare at him without even blinking once. He's eventually forced to pull out his gun and shoot a warning shot that then forces the creature to make a run for it. Now here's the thing. This footage is from Tennessee, and there have been over a dozen sightings of similar creatures. While some people think these are feral people living in the woods, others don't necessarily agree with them. Number 27, real-life nightmare. Watch how this human-like creature switches and begins to crawl like an animal. His movements send shivers down my spine, and I can't even imagine how these guys confronted it.
The man filming this video fortunately drove off quickly.
When this thing gets too close for comfort, they speed off and don't look back. Here's where things get spooky though. Remember the previous clip? Well, this was shot in the same area, and could it be that this is what terrorizes locals at night? Number 28, imaginary friend. This little girl is playing with her toys, and even though having imaginary friends is normal when you're a kid, sometimes you shouldn't be too friendly. She's talking to her toy and asks if they want to speak, but it seems someone or something else decided to respond. The door behind slowly opens, and you hear some weird mumbling as well. Instead of getting too friendly with whatever that was, she decides to quietly get up and leave. Oh, and did you know this family disappeared overnight? Yup. I'm not making this up. They had a massive social following with accounts on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, all of which were wiped clean overnight and never found again. So was it really a supernatural experience, or something that will end up on a true crime documentary? Number 29. Cave monster. Imagine stumbling across this strange creature in the middle of a cave. These two guys were busy exploring a cave when they woke up what appeared to be an ancient dragon or strange insect.
Okay, Owen. Owen.
Okay. You can even see how it's in the air, using its arms or legs to scale the walls, and honestly, seeing something like that in real life must be horrifying. When the footage first made headlines, everyone was left confused, with experts baffled as to what this creature is. Is it possible that there are dragon-like creatures hiding inside caves? Or are there insects bigger than we ever imagined? Let's hope we never find out. Number 30, Formless Monster. This was recorded at the bottom of an oil rig, and experts have no idea what this creature is. It's formless as it glides across the water, while it looks like it's inspecting the rig. A lot of people argued that it was just some flubber of a dead whale floating around because of the currents, but that theory was later shot down after finding out that the flubber is far too nutritious to be left alone by the creatures down there. And while the movements of the Formless Monster are super mesmerizing, it really makes me wonder what else is hiding down there in our oceans. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. So, what do you think? What clip did you find scariest? Have you ever experienced something unexplainable yourself? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more interesting content in the future.